Hi, everyone. Sounds like folks can hear me. Great. A couple of updates. We have 463 cases now and 14 fatalities. We've today moved 2 individuals from the hospital into career. And so today is the start of our activation of career as the isolation shelter. And so far it's going well. I again wanted to just thank all of our team for the incredible amount of effort they put into making the site work. And we're very relieved to have this site to enable us to facilitate the isolation of individuals that don't have another place to go. We've had several nursing homes that have had a spike in cases, and we're concerned about those nursing homes. We're having active conversations with the leadership of the nursing homes to limit any additional spread in the sites. But this is something that we're concerned about and working on as well. Nursing homes are a little bit complicated, and my understanding is they're an entity of the state. Director Bond knows more about this than I do. And the state has been having regular conversations with nursing homes to make sure that they are conducting as much as they can safe practices to limit any potential risk to their residents. But we're also stepping in to help support and ensure that the nursing homes are, as much as they can, limiting the likelihood of any spread to other individuals in the nursing homes. We have a total of 9 firefighters who have tested positive and 4 police officers. One of those police officers has already returned to work, has fully recovered, and is no longer a risk and has returned to work. And I wanted to hand it over to New Haven Public Schools because they had some things they wanted to share as well. So Dr. Tracy, do you have something to share? You're on mute, Dr. Tracy.
I have to, oh.
There you go.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Mayor. I just want to say that last time when we reported, we were having some challenges with Comcast that had offered free services to our families. There were a lot of requirements, and now they have lifted those requirements, and they emailed us that the families can now have access to the free internet that they're offering. And they're also opening up what is called Xfinity Wi-Fi hotspots free of charge to everyone until May 15th. So that's some good news for those of our families who were struggling with getting access to Wi-Fi. The second thing we want to talk about is that we realize the challenges with lack of computers for our families. And so through Ms. Hannons and the literacy folks, they have developed work packets for literacy and math for those students without, and these will be distributed starting Wednesday at the breakfast lunch sites. So we'll have these so that parents are challenged, they have something else for their students to work with. I know we were asked about the number of students that may have been served so far through the work we've been doing. I think so far we can account for 17,500 based on the fact that they were not marked absent, that they're accessing some form of learning, teachers, principals, other workers reaching out to them and touching base to make sure that they're doing some of the work that is being given to them. So in essence, we can say about 85% accessing their learning. And so we're trying to make sure that although we have the equity issues, that we're making sure that we can service our students the best way possible. I know you've heard recently, just not too long ago, that the governor is extending school up to May 20th. That means we are closing school or extending? Am I having it correct? Keisha?
Extending the school closure.
Extending the school closure for another full month, starting from April 20th to May 20th. So that's 1 whole month. And so we are set. We are in gears to help our families the best way we can through this process. Pinto.
Anything else, Dr. Tracy?
I don't know if Mr. Pinto has it. Mr. Pinto.
Sure, just a quick update. This month, we've given out 22,915 meals through effectively the first 9 days of April. It's about 78,400 is the total so far since we started on March 16th. Again, just to reiterate, we will not, with an observance of the Good Friday holiday tomorrow, we will not be distributing meals. We did distribute additional meals today to help families get through the long weekend, through the Easter weekend and the Passover weekend. Starting next Monday, although we are on spring break, spring recess, we will be distributing meals Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. There is no change to the locations. However, again, in order to reduce contact and reduce the likelihood of transmission, we're reducing the number of days from 5 down to Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. The times remain the same. The locations remain the same, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. I'm sorry.
And may I say, Ms. Hannons, could you talk about the second wave of distribution of some of the remaining computers that we have? Could you speak to that?
Good afternoon, everyone. So we are doing a second wave of delivery of Chromebooks to our families, but this is for families that signed up through their individual schools. So they will be contacted directly by their school principal on a time for them to pick up Chromebooks. As you know, to date, we've given out over 7,000 Chromebooks across the district. So this is the second wave of folks who may not have been able to go to their school to receive a Chromebook initially. I guess that would be 3 weeks ago. So this second round of Chromebooks will be given to students who have signed up through their schools.
And that's it for me, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any questions? We're going to go with Shana.
Hi, Mayor. Thank you so much. This question is for you and Director Bond, if possible. I know the last few conference calls that we've been on, we've talked about hotspots in the city and where everything stands. And I know that you were working on getting some of those maps, and you did put out the map as far as where the hotspots in the city are. And I know I hate to be redundant, but my focus tonight is really about the people that are impacted most. And I know you had mentioned that communities of color, specifically New Haven, are being hit pretty hard. Could you speak to that? And Director Bond, I would love to hear from you afterward as well.
Yeah, I think that in New Haven, we're seeing a trend that appears to be happening in other cities, where in particular communities of color are at a higher likelihood of contracting COVID-19 and being hospitalized. At least that's what our initial numbers are indicating. And in some ways that is not surprising given the income inequality that oftentimes disproportionately impacts communities of color, and creates a scenario where people may not have the ability to telework, may not have the ability to take time away from work and are working service jobs that they're forced to interact with a lot of people, may have underlying health conditions, a variety of issues. We need to obviously work very hard to focus on areas where people are most impacted. And I think that when we started to see these numbers, we became very concerned about that trend and are doing what we can to address it.
Gotcha. And do you have updated numbers as far as where the percentages lie? Or maybe Dr. Bond could speak to it. I'd love to hear from both if you have that.
So could you repeat the question? I was going to
Sure.
add the first question, but what's your second question?
The second question is the percentages as far as communities of color, African-American versus Hispanic, or speak to those numbers.
So we certainly have the data, and I think to the mayor's point yesterday is that one of the things that we're seeing is that 39% of our data does not have demographics. complicated because of the way that the forms being filled out. And so we're improving our messaging, asking entities when they're putting in these requisitions for testing orders to make sure that they're filling out all of the fields, because it gives us a better picture of that. And so that's what we have that. So Ken, talk a little bit about the percentages as they are today. I'm just trying to move my screen because right now I can see you. But in regards to some of the efforts that we're doing, we're also trying to work on making sure that we are increasing our messaging to the community, because what we're seeing is that the impact of the community are individuals that are impacted with chronic medical conditions that historically data is already aligning it. And then now when we're looking at the people being affected by COVID-19 is the same as well. So what we have for percentages in regard to, sorry, my computer, I had to get a new computer, so my mouse is getting there. One moment.
Yeah, take your time.
I think it's something that probably makes sense for us maybe on a weekly basis to share percentages, just because if we do that every day, it creates a lot of additional work for us. And we want to share the information. Our data hasn't changed dramatically as far as the percentage breakdown of race and ethnicity, with the additional, I'm not sure how many cases compared to yesterday, the additional 50 cases. But we're happy to share those, if all right with the press, on a weekly basis to give updates. Does that work?
That works.
Okay.
I think
Go-
she's
you have another
still
question?
Director. Yeah, I think Director Bond was speaking, but she was muted as far as.
Am I unmuted now?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I think the mayor brings up a really valid point. So if we can report them weekly, because right now I'm looking at the data, it has not changed since what the mayor reported yesterday. In fact, we have 31% of unknown, which is a 2% difference in regards to unknown of classification in regards to that. So the percentages are pretty much still in alignment to what we reported yesterday with our mapping and our demographics.
Gotcha. Can you speak to the neighborhoods at all? Do you have any kind of a clear idea at this point with the consistent data coming in where the hotspots are in New Haven?
Yeah, absolutely. So we know where the hotspots are. And one of the things that we're doing is we kicked the campaign of spreading the facts, not the virus, as an effort to really we increase our efforts with communicating to the communities and also engaging community leaders as messengers as well, because we have to work as effort together. It's not just us sending messages up down, but we need messengers at the community level, grassroots level, to also share these messages. And so we're really asking individuals to really stay at home, so stay safe, and only go out if it's essential travel only. And if they do, the same messaging around CDC that we are recommending that they use masks when they're out, because it's a CDC recommendation, and utilizing those recommendations to their best of their ability. So we have been doing a lot of efforts in trying to increase our capacity to send messages out. Last night we were on 94.3 when we had participated on a town hall. I was on ESPN radio. We also increased our efforts with the Spanish radio communities. And so we want to make sure that we're sending messages also bilingual. So we enhanced portal on our website so that we'll have access. We continue to ask individuals to call the hotline if they have questions and concerns. So we are asking the community, please call us at 203-946-4949. We have clinical staff that are ready to answer questions around symptoms and concerns. And so those are some of the things that we're doing. We are also looking at mobilizing and increasing testing capacity within different neighborhoods so that people have access to testing. And we're in preliminary conversations around that. And we also ramped up our contact tracing. Contact tracing means that if we know we have a positive case, interviewing them so that we know other people that may have been exposed, and notifying them so that they can also self-isolate and not continue to spread virus throughout the city and the community.
Gotcha. Alrighty, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
I saw Michael Bingham's got his hand up.
Oh, good afternoon. Is it okay to ask a non-medical question?
Sure.
Earlier today, the governor, during the same conversation when he was announcing extending the public school closings until May 20th, he also let it be known that he was going to also extend the shutdown of non-essential businesses, including restaurants and bars, until sometime in May. He didn't specify a date yet, but he said he was going to maybe tomorrow. That's going to significantly increase the number of small businesses in downtown and throughout the city, for sure, that never reopen, and workers who never get their jobs back. And I wanted to ask, because it's really easy and facile to say, well, life and death matters more than commerce. But, if hundreds of companies and small businesses never reopen in this city, and if thousands of people lose their jobs for good, that's not good. So before this crisis hit, New Haven was really kind of the one city in Connecticut with a really pretty vibrant downtown and some really vibrant commercial neighborhoods and shopping districts. When this is over, they're never going to be the same again. And I guess my question is simply sort of, do you think about that? And what do you think about that?
Thanks for the question, Michael. I think that the way you framed it is way more negative than how I would frame it. First, there's a serious sacrifice that businesses are making, that people are making economically right now. And it's important for all of us to acknowledge that. I think that it's not just about prioritizing the health and wellness of the community, which is the priority, but by making sure that we shut things down now, we are ensuring that down the road, our economy will be stronger because we will beat this virus faster. If we continue to promote a delusional narrative that is being promoted at the national level, that just around the corner we're going to open up again, then the outbreak will continue, it will increase, and we will just have to shut things down again. More people will die, and the economy will suffer even more. So we are doing the right thing, not only because we are reducing the number of people that will die, but we're also doing the right thing in the long term for the economy. Even though it's painful now, it will be much, much more painful if we close our eyes and act like nothing's happening and start to reopen businesses. I think that no place in the United States will be the same after this, but I don't think that it's fair to say that those jobs will never come back or these businesses will never come back. Many, if not most, of these businesses will come back, and new businesses will open up, new jobs will arise. And one thing that I'm proud of in New Haven is our ability to come together in a crisis and rebound. And I am confident that we will do that. I'm not saying this isn't going to be easy. It's going to be very challenging, but we will overcome this. And we're making the right steps now, even though they may be very, very difficult for people, to ensure that in the long run, not only people are healthy, but also people will be vibrant economically and our city will be vibrant economically.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Tom and then Mary.
Thank you very much, Mayor and everyone.
And it's just, Tom has figured out how to raise his hand with Zoom, and Mary's not yet done that. So once Mary figures out how to do that, we can go back to her. Go ahead, Tom.
First, I'd just like to say that I would also be very interested in receiving weekly updates from your administration about the racial neighborhood breakdown. So thank you for offering that, and I would be interested. On the economic front, has your administration considered any kind of direct cash assistance to New Haveners in the way that the federal government is trying to do right now? I know totally different scales of government, but it's something you're considering.
So we've had some conversations about this. Given our financial situation, it will be very, very difficult for us, particularly when you compare it with the resources of the federal government or the state. We've also had some conversations with major funders. We were on a conference call yesterday with some large funders in the region about the issues around access to cash for residents that are really struggling. And I had mentioned in particular some concerns around the undocumented community. New Haven, the city of New Haven is, we will have revenue problems in this fiscal year. We've had a reduction in a lot of the normal sources of revenue. And so it's difficult for us to then turn around and increase funding directly to residents, but it is something that we're exploring as a potential option.
Thank you. And yeah, as you noted, the federal relief bill does not include undocumented immigrants, from my understanding.
Correct.
That's very alarming.
That's why we're concerned about that. We're concerned about, in particular, people that are left out of some of the existing stimulus that is being provided to many people in the nation.
That's very alarming to hear that there's been a spike in positive cases in nursing homes. Which local nursing homes have seen those spikes, and what kinds of interventions is your administration doing to mitigate the spread?
So we're not going to release the names of the nursing homes right now. We may in the future. And we're having the conversations that are site specific about how to mitigate some of the issues. Different nursing homes have different configurations, multiple people in rooms and single people in some rooms, some shared bathrooms. And so we're working through those issues to try to mitigate the problem in a site-specific way. I don't know, Director Bond, if you have anything to add.
You're correct. And I think it's important to understand that, every community is a priority for us, especially when we know that the mortality rate is higher among elderly. So we are, the way that we've been handling it to be collaborate as much as possible, understanding that they are all actively trying to ensure the safety of those residents that live in these facilities. So we assess protocols, we assess their processes, and provide recommendations, and have ongoing communication with these facilities to ensure that they know that we're a collaborative partner with them.
Thank you. And Mayor and Director Bond, why are you not sharing the names of those nursing homes now? I know you spoke about Bella Vista, which is this senior apartment complex, a few weeks ago and other times. Why have you decided not to release those names now?
We need to have some conversations to make sure that they have a heads up that that information would come out, so they're not bombarded by the press.
I wanted to ask the schools team a few questions. How many Chromebooks will be distributed as part of this second wave? Is there an estimated number as to how many might go out?
We have upwards of approximately about 800 to give out at this time. And we're working with our principals for the finalized list today to receive how many students exactly. But we'll be distributing over a few days at multiple sites.
And that might start next week, or do you have a timeline for when that distribution might be?
It will begin Monday. But it's only, I want to reiterate, it's only for the families that have signed up through their schools for the devices.
Thank you for that clarification. Superintendent Tracy, could you speak a bit more about the free internet available through Comcast and free Wi-Fi to the extent that you can? I'm not sure how many details you have on that, but if you have any other details, I'd love to hear them.
So what I reported was as much in detail that I have, Thomas, in that they're providing access for families. The eligibility rules that they had before was lifted. And so now families can have their internet essentials up to date with them, because I understand, from what I understand and from other superintendents, even though they had offered the Wi-Fi access free or what have you, there was some guidelines that families had to abide by. So they since lifted those guidelines, whatever those were.
Through May 15th, you said?
Yes, through May 15th, yes.
And then you mentioned literacy and math I take it, print packets that will be distributed at the meal distribution sites. Which grade
Yes.
levels are those for? And
That's
could you say
K.
who developed
That-
those again?
Oh, the literacy coaches and the literacy and math supervisors and math coaches, they work developing those packets. We have them copied at our copy center that we have at Cross, and they're ready to go. We still have to copy some more because they have to purchase more papers to get more bulk copies, but we'll have enough to go out. And I think we're starting that on Wednesday. We do not want to have that happening at the same time distributing the computers. So we're starting that on Wednesday for our families. So we'll have those laid out according to grade levels. And it's
And
from
which grade level?
K-12.
Thank you very much.
You
And
are
then-
welcome, Thomas.
My-
Can we,
my-
Tom, can we
Mhm.
transition to Mary and come back to you?
Yes, yes.
To
of
share
course.
a little bit of the wealth here.
Sure,
Go ahead,
thanks.
Mary.
I just wanted to know where the police and fire who are testing positive now, where are they? Where are they staying?
Where the what?
The police and fire, the latest police and fire who are testing positive. Are they all going home?
Yeah, they're going home. They're staying at home. I called through many of them today to talk with them to check in on how they're doing. And most are feeling pretty good.
All right, on the nursing homes, you must be working in conjunction with the state. Is the state sending out people to advise these institutions what they can do better?
Director Bond, do you want to take that one? Did you hear the question?
I did. Yeah, so the state, in conjunction with health department, we make assessments, we provide recommendations based on the scenario that's happening at a particular site. So as the mayor indicated, each site has unique configurations and different situations that are happening at different levels. And so they're assessed and communicated often. So that it's a conjunction communication with the state level and the local level.
Okay. How many of the homes are involved? I'm sorry, I know you said a number.
We not disclose a number.
You can't disclose the name or the number.
I think it's okay. There's two main ones that we're concerned about right now. However, there's a lot of facilities in New Haven, and so we're keeping an eye on a lot of them because it's a pretty rapidly changing situation.
Okay,
And
so
I'm
that-
sure people have seen in the press that there's many other nursing homes around the state that are also dealing with similar situations.
Right. So you have enough staff? Your staff is doing a lot of work. Staff to
I know.
take care of this every day.
Yeah, it's a
We're
real
assessing
challenge.
capacity
It's a real
every
challenge.
day.
Thank you.
I saw Kyle, and then I'll go to David Puglisi.
Hi, thank you. So I was curious to know, as far as the remaining police officers, at one point there were 37, I believe, that were out. Do you have an update on how many are out and how many may still be awaiting test results?
So I have 12 firefighters out, and I believe, and 28 police officers out now.
Okay, and those of those 28, do you have a number of them? How many of them have been tested and are awaiting results, or are they just?
I don't know. I can get you that information, but I'm not sure. I don't have that in my notes for today.
Okay, thank you. That was it for me.
David Puglisi?
Yeah, guys, just a quick question. Thanks. First, I think it's great that you guys are doing the free services of internet and the hotspots. So my question is for the families who don't have that yet, how do they go about getting that access?
Dr. Tracy or Keisha?
My glasses off, so I'm unmuted. Okay, so that's a good question. How do we go about? So we're asking folks to report to their principals what their needs are. We have YFCE, which is Youth Family Community Engagement. They're reaching out and to our homeless kids and children who are at risks. And they're getting that information. And as soon as they feed that information through us, we're acting on those. And when they also email me personally, and so I forward them to the assistant superintendents and the principals of those schools. And they've been reaching back out to them.
All right, that's it. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
You're
David.
welcome.
Let's go back to Tom.
Mayor, the governor mentioned yesterday that CVS might be opening a new testing site in New Haven. Do you have any details on where that might be?
I don't have any details on that, but it would be a welcome development. I wish I
And
did.
then my last question is about UNH. Have any city firefighters or police officers any more moved to UNH? Do you have?
I believe so. I can get an updated number. I don't have it for this call, but I'll work on getting an updated number.
Great. That's it for me. Thank you very much.
Great. Any other questions? Go ahead, Mary.
So you're still talking to Yale, I'm assuming,
Still talking to
for any
you.
rearrangements. Thanks.
Yep. I have 14 firefighters currently at UNH. I'm not sure how many police officers. Other questions? Let's go Shayna, and I see Kyle has another question. Go ahead, Shayna.
Just wanted to clarify, I hate to kind of bring it back, but can you just speak to which neighborhood specifically? So I don't want to mischaracterize as far as the hotspots for coronavirus.
Yeah, I saw the information is not different from what we shared yesterday.
Okay, never mind then. I just wanted to make sure.
Okay, great.
Thanks.
No problem. Kyle, I'm trying to unmute you, and for some reason it's not. Oh, there it goes.
Yeah, I think I muted it myself, so there we go. So I just wanted to double check and make sure I'm clear. The 14 that are at UNH, are they asymptomatic?
I will need to check that. Our agreement with UNH is that there will be no COVID positive individuals, but there could be both fully healthy individuals and symptomatic individuals at that site. I need to check what the scenario is with each one of those.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, I don't have that answer for you now.
No problem.
Any other questions? Any other questions? Okay, thanks so much, everybody. See you soon. Take
Thank
care.
you. Bye-bye. Take care.